Good day. Muse and Medicine back with you. Okay, right into it. I received a question about energy. And the question was actually, what are the 3 biggest things that you can do to maintain a healthy flow of energy throughout the day? And the long answer, which is probably what I'm going to give you, is that there's no one right answer for every person, but I have some ideas, some experiences, some learnings that could potentially help. So I want to start with, in Chinese medicine, the radical, or rather the character for qi looks like this. Let's see if it'll come. Awesome. And this is made up of the radicals. This is one radical, and this is another one, and I think it's backwards for you guys. But this means vapor or air, and this one means rice. So in Chinese medicine, energy or qi is made up of what you breathe in, the environment you hold yourself in, and what you eat. So your energy is going to mirror those things. For instance, have you ever walked into a room after someone's been fighting and you can feel it in the air? So that's part of the air that you breathe. So if we live in cities, which I do, which a lot of people do, we're not getting the best quality of air. Plants are made to give off oxygen. So being around plants is naturally going to give you a better quality of air, which is why going into nature can be so restorative. That's one thing. Different people in your life who give off negative airs may very well deplete your energy because you have to deal with that. It has to go through you. I know some Buddhist practitioners that say that in order to master yourself, you have to learn to become transparent. And what they mean by that is when people's energies hit you, they just kind of go right through you. So some people, like a Buddhist monk, will be they'll be with the angriest, meanest person in the world who's cursing them out, and they maintain loving compassion. It's because they're not letting it land on them. What you resist persists, and resistance takes a lot of energy. That's an interesting thing to say in the climate of the times right now. So we can talk about that in another time. So then the other thing is what you eat. Now, our food, we are our food. What we eat, we become. And what we eat affects us. And a lot of people don't want to believe that, which I find very fascinating, but it's helpful to draw an analogy. If we take pharmaceutical medications to affect something in our body, we take them through our mouths, and they affect the thing in our brain chemistry even. So what you eat definitely affects your body. Now, we talked a bit in another video about phlegm foods, which are the heavy, sticky foods. Now, in Chinese medicine, our spleen, which is on the left side of the body, and the pancreas underneath the diaphragm, spleen is responsible for digesting food and creating the blood out of the food that we eat. So therefore what we eat creates our quality of blood. Now, the spleen, according to the classics, detests cold and damp. So if we're eating a lot of cold foods, like ice cream in the middle of the winter time, it can really mess up your spleen function. I have treated people who are really into raw food diet, which works better in tropical areas, because in in Boulder, for instance, there are a lot of people who are into raw food. I went to finish acupuncture school in Boulder. And they would come in and they had diarrhea all the time, pieces of undigested food in their bowel movements. They were fatigued, they were bloated, they might have excess discharge symptoms, and that comes from the spleen being overworked because they're eating too many raw foods, and it takes a lot of energy to digest those raw foods. So a lot of the things that we'll do in Chinese medicine is put a little bit of warmth. Like if you make a smoothie, put some ginger or some canela, cinnamon in it, chile put inside, so that it creates that warm quality to help the body's fire digest the food. So eating too many cold foods, eating too many damp foods. Now, damp foods are going to be phlegm foods, French fries, fried foods, lots of bread, lots of pastas, milk, cheese, those kinds of things. And those are going to be hard for the spleen to digest, especially if we're predominantly eating those things. A very easy thing you can do in general, no matter what you eat, is chew your food very well. Your saliva is the first step in the breakdown of the food that you eat. So the longer you chew it, the easier your organs are going to have to actually digest it. Less work for your organs. And when your organs have less work to do, they take less energy. So that's another thing. And just in general, you want to observe, because everybody's different. Like if I drink, some people I know actually drink coffee and it makes them tired. I've watched this happen to a few different people, and that's their body constitution. And there's some kind of constituent in coffee, I don't know the exact science behind it, that explains that. If you want, research it. Anything I say, always research. I could be wrong. I'm just offering what I know off the top of my head in my clinical experience. You know, check yourself out. I give my patients, I tell them to write down what's going on with them. They have a body journal. So this isn't just well, this symptom happened and it felt like this. Like if they come to me for diarrhea, for instance, it's not all only about diarrhea, because we are all encompassing holistic healthcare treats all of us. So your body journal, I woke up, I felt like this. After I dreamt of this, I talked to this person, I felt like this. I pooped at this time, it looked like this, it smelled like this. I ate this thing, it made me feel like this, okay? So this is like every single day, pretty much observing and tracking everything you do and everything you eat and everything you breathe, so that you know how your body is reacting to certain things. So another good rule of thumb is to get to bed at a consistent time every night and wake up at a consistent time. Our bodies are machines and they like regulation. They like consistency. And that said, we did talk about how the times have changed our body's ability to process things. If you have a schedule that makes you work at night, the body's organs are supposed to do things at night. They're supposed to be resting. So you just have to really observe yourself. It's unfortunate when I get people who are night job workers and they have all kinds of slews of symptoms because their clocks are literally turned around upside down and they're not able to process in the same way. The blood doesn't restore itself. The spirits of the organs, according to Chinese medicine, aren't able to do their work if you're not asleep at night. So that's another thing to think about, just lifestylistically. Another thing is smoking, and that doesn't matter whether you're smoking cigarettes or you're smoking weed. Smoking in itself is depleting of the qi, and in the beginning it feels like it's actually adding to, because heat is an excess thing. So we inhale and we're like, oh, that feels good. You might get a little burst of energy after you smoke. It might calm down a little bit, but also that entering of hot, dry is depleting the blood body, because it's hot, dry. Like if there's a puddle of water in the hot sun, eventually the puddle's going to disappear. So the blood is what carries the qi around, that carries the oxygen. So if your blood is weak, your blood is slow, your blood is sluggish and depleted, you're not going to be able to carry that oxygen around optimally. The other part of smoking is that, according to Chinese medicine, your lungs are the governor of the qi. So the lungs inhale, and the energy or the qi is supposed to move down throughout your whole body. So if the lungs are depleted in that sense, unable to fully expand or fully descend the qi, you're also going to be tired throughout the day. Eating good food is really helpful. Once again, we are what we eat, like having a smoothie. I know it's a kind of a privileged thing to do that. Really though, if you only buy real food, like fruits and vegetables, I really like Trader Joe's. They have good prices on good produce. You actually don't spend more money. I don't spend a lot of money eating out. I don't spend a lot of money buying like frozen stuff or things like that. Like if you buy produce and you're willing to spend the time preparing your food, you're just going to feel a lot better, because you're ingesting natural, real ingredients that your body's meant to metabolize, unlike polyhydrogenated oils and different processed foods, packaged foods that you buy in the store. So things that you like this has oranges and blackberries and nuts for the fats, and a little bit of honey. So eating good food is really going to help your energy, and eating enough food. A lot of mothers and teachers run around not eating enough food, and then they're really tired, and that's a problem. So a good way to do it, especially if you're like pregnant, steam or roast beets and sweet potatoes and carrots, things like that, like fully, that you can carry with you, like in a Ziploc bag. And then you just take out a whole sweet potato, and that builds the blood and tonifies the spleen. Really going to help you out. So snacking well, having snacks in your purse is really a functional way of making sure that you're getting enough nutrition to sustain your life. What else? There's sleeping enough is really powerful. One of the things that I feel, or I've heard, messes with a lot of people is honestly sleeping with your partner, because you, like, one person turns and the other person turns. And my mom read an article she told me about that said couples who have different beds actually have better lives with each other and better relationships, because they're not missing out on sleep, and well-rested people are better partners. So making sure you're getting enough sleep is really, really important. And meditation's really good for restoring. If you just take 5 minutes out of your day and you breathe, and with the intention that the breath will restore you, which it will, that will help, even sometimes better than a nap, like a half-hour nap. Just 5 minutes of intentional breathing will really help out. And then in general, nutritive tonic teas that you can drink all day, like nettle is a really good one. A lot of iron, a lot of B vitamins. Oat straw, another one's really like syrupy, thick, that you can drink. I really love alfalfa because it also leaches out toxins at the same time as it is a nutritive tonic. Green tea is a really good one. Ultimately, you're the only one who really knows what your body's constitution needs. And if you spend time alone and ask, you'll get answers, whether they appear in like words in your head, or all of a sudden you just know the answer, or you see a picture of like, oh, there's me in a park, let me go hang out under that tree. That will give me energy, which it will. So these are just some things on that. Please subscribe, comment, ask me other questions, and I hope this was helpful for you, and I look forward to connecting with you guys soon. Be well.